By the early 1980s, Corvette, once a great icon and regarded as America's sports car, had lost its way. Decades of regulations, emissions, economic hardships, and a crippling fuel crisis in the late 1970s threatened to kill off one of the most capable performance cars on the planet. When the C3 Corvette ended production in 1982, it was underpowered, overweight, and appealed more to boulevard cruisers than those looking for performance. So when the Chevy C4 Corvette launched at the end of 1983 as a 1984 model year, General Motors had created a car with the goal of restoring the Corvette name to greatness. Chief Engineer Dave McClellan had directly succeeded Zora Duntov, well known as the father of the Corvette, in 1975. And he was more than up to the task. The result was that GM once again had a value conscience but world-beating sports car to sell to the American public. And it was one that would last a lengthy 12 years on the market before being replaced with the C5 Corvette. The earliest Chevrolet C4 Corvettes aren't necessarily the best-looking or best-performing variants, but they are the cheapest to purchase today. The average examples in good condition are found for well less than $10,000. And let's not forget that the C4 Corvette was Motor Trend's 1984 Car of the Year. Early C4 Corvettes produced a fairly meager 205 horsepower with a notoriously unreliable crossfire fuel injection system that was often nicknamed ceasefire. Transmission options were a 4-speed automatic or the usual Doug Nash 4+3 4-speed manual gearbox with the electronic overdrive on the higher 3 gears. A coupe with a Targa-styled one-piece removable top was the only body style initially available for the C4. The interior was a chunky, straight-edge design with a fully digital display that was all the rage in the 1980s. In 1985, tuned port injection replaced the crossfire system and power increased by 25 horsepower for 230 horsepower total. Chevy also softened up the suspension after too many magazine reviews trashed the track-tuned Corvette's ride, though a Z51 heavy-duty performance suspension option was still available for those who didn't mind. The 1986 model year brought the return of a Corvette convertible, which by the way also paced that year's Indy 500, along with standard ABS and new aluminum cylinder heads for another 5 horsepower gain. While values aren't dramatically greater than earlier cars at this stage, convertibles do bring a bit of a premium. By now, more Corvettes were ordered with automatic transmissions than manuals. In 1987, output for the C4 Corvette increased again to 240 horsepower, thanks to more efficient roller lifters that replaced the old hydraulic versions. A new Z52 suspension option had all the Z51 goods, with softer springs oriented for street use, and the Z52 package was standard on the 1988's 35th Anniversary Edition model. The year 1989 brought a contemporary 6-speed manual gearbox supplied by ZF, along with an optional body-colored hardtop for convertible models. In 1990, the Corvette underwent its mid-cycle interior refresh, which dramatically updated the car's cabin. Analog gauges returned, but with a large LCD display in the center of the instrument panel that offered speed and other data in digital format. The V8 now produced a fairly healthy 240 horsepower, but the 1990 examples are still very affordable at about $7,200 for your average coupe and prices hovering around $9,000 for convertibles depending on where you live. Well-optioned, low-mileage manual-equipped cars in show condition can bring well into the teens. The ZR1 also debuted in 1990. The year 1991 brought the C4 Corvette's first mid-cycle exterior refresh, with smoothed-over corners and side vents, new squared-shaped taillights derived from the 1990 ZR1, redesigned wheels, and an embossed Corvette marking on the rear panel rather than a glued-on badge. For this year, power remained at 245 horsepower, but the 1992 brought an all-new second-generation Chevy small block engine dubbed the LT1. Output was now an impressive 300 horsepower, enough to really stick it to the entry-level performance cars like the Porsche 911. In 1993, a 40th anniversary edition arrived with ruby red paint and interior. And today, such cars can bring $3,000 to $4,000 more on a coupe and convertible respectively. A decade into production, the 1994 C4 Corvette had only minor changes, including a passenger side airbag and another revised fuel injection system that had no effect on output, though drivability and emissions improved. In 1995, bigger front brakes from the ZR1 became standard equipment along with softer front springs and Z07 equipment packages. In the C4 Corvette's final year of 1996, manual-equipped cars got a special LT4 5.7-liter V8 engine with 330 horsepower, and a collector's edition model boasted silver paint and special badges. Well, there you have it. History of the C4 Corvette 1984 through 1996. If you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching Alamo Car Reviews. This is Michael J. Take care.